That was such an inspirational and fun talk. Now we're going to invite Daisy and Julie on the stage to answer some of your questions. So, welcome, both of you. Right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Can you tell us where you are right now, which part of the world you're currently coming in from?
Yeah, I'm right now in California, in Sunnyvale. Yeah, bright and early.
I'm in Taipei. I'm in a quarantine hotel right now.
Oh, no. So this is your most exciting part of it.
I just got here from Paris a couple of days ago.
So this is your most exciting part of the whole quarantine week.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for this very funny and inspirational talk. You already talked a little bit about some tips and tricks on how to collaborate, but can you explore a little bit more? What are the pros and cons of collaborating with such a large distance between you?
Well, in terms of cons, I guess actually I've never met Daisy. It's really strange because we talk almost on a daily basis, but we never met in person. So I would say that would be a con. And pros, we actually work really well together despite the time difference because I happen to be a night person and Daisy is a morning person. So usually in the evenings in Paris is Daisy's mornings, and that's usually a really good time for us to meet.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's like kind of magical. So we made it like a 24-hour collaboration. I would like draw some bobas in the morning, and when I go to sleep, when I wake up, like it magically appears on the page because Julia already developed it. And yeah, because we're both freelancing, so it will kind of resonating with the folks talking about finding like your own traveler, like finding your own group. So we like didn't feel so lonely like working within our own studio because like you have someone to bounce ideas even though we're far away. So that was really, really fun. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds very good. So you've been saying that your collaboration has been like a dream and really smooth, but there's one audience question that states, how did you manage the situations when you thought very differently about a decision to take in the project?
Well, I can give an example. So I'm more of a 90% person. Daisy is like a 150% person, and she's a perfectionist. And so sometimes at the end, when there's like really minor details, and I think maybe it's not worth the effort, I'll be like, oh, it's fine. And then, but Daisy, given that she's a perfectionist, she would really be like, oh, Julia, come on, just do it. And then I usually would just give in, and it's a good decision because we end up coming up with really high quality pieces due to Daisy's perfectionism.
Yeah, and I agree. Julia really taught me also to relax a bit. Like if we're like 20 and it's like, oh yeah, push this 1 pixel and make this like 80% transparent. But then like it really like reminds me when Julia was saying like in the end it's just like a fun project that we want to explore. And I think that's like really nice to remind yourself whenever you're doing side project, like it's really like to push your boundaries but also really enjoy. So I like also remind myself when like discussing with Julia on these tiny details, like, yeah, like actually I should try to relax a bit and really enjoy it and think of it as just like something I would do on the side instead of making it too like job-like, I think. So that was really helpful for me as well. Yeah.
So finding the right balance between what should be and because it's still fun to do and getting in there. Okay. About like the collaborating and with such long distances, do you have tips on check-in meetings, making them efficient and keeping each other consistent on the long term? Because on personal projects, it sometimes can be easy to fall off your initial schedule. So how do you keep each other on track?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. I think we're both pretty organized. And like what we mentioned in the talk, it was actually quite helpful that we had that initial professional collaboration when I was working at Sergo. So we kind of got a system set up where we would use like Google Sheets to track our progress. And for our meetings, we would put all our meeting running notes in a Google Doc together. So we have all the conversations since like we started last year in Outlier. It was actually kind of fun during putting this talk to see like all the ideas that we had that was super unrealistic. But yeah, I think like having all those tracking systems in place was really helpful initially. And yeah.
And I think we also tried to have consistent meetings. So even when we didn't have too much to update, we would still try to meet. I think it's a really good way just to catch up and keep each other motivated.
Sounds really good. So when looking to the future, because you've now, well, we're at the second Outlier, so are there more collaborations? So do you have future ideas for further collaborations, either with each other or with someone else that you met here? And this person adds, I really love the idea of introducing Taiwanese culture in an accessible way to others. So compliments there. But what are your plans for future collaborations?
In terms of this project, we're really open to involving other people, whoever is interested, who has ideas. I would like to work with some locals. So I think for this project, we're really open for new collaborations. And for other projects outside of this project, we're actually also working together on pieces for Raiders. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And that speaks to really like side project collaborations can really lead to professional projects as well. It goes both ways. So we really had like a great relationship in collaborating, and that like led to different pieces. But for this Taiwan data story project, overall, our main goal really is to expand the data viz storytelling scene in Taiwan and in the Asian community. So we want to bring more people in, and we thought like food would be a really friendly stepping stone to invite more people in the data viz community. And hopefully that will give us more ideas. We hope to like ask the community actually for what our next project and topic can be, because we have so many. We want to try new ways to make the data viz art as well. Like I was really inspired by Kat's work on physical objects, maybe build something, or using like the 30-day chart challenge to build more topic around more Taiwan topic data viz, just to kind of share more about culture and invite more people in the Asian community to join us as well to collaborate. Yeah.
So you definitely look forward to maybe work also more together. Would you consider starting a business together? Because I think everyone's very excited about all the work that you do.
Oh,
that's a good idea. we haven't thought of it yet, but it's something to consider, definitely.
Yes. We're recruiting a business brain. We don't really have that.
So talk about like you don't have a business brain, but I think you also said in your talk that like you matched very well on the skills. So how do you sell yourself as a duo to clients to start your own business? Because you have different skill sets, like you would for this personal project. So what do you focus on? Which different skill sets to sell yourself to more corporate clients?
Yeah, I think our skills are really complementary and a good match. So the presentation focused on how I do a lot more on the design and narrative side, whereas Julia does a lot on the data analysis and developing side. And that actually really matches really well, because Julia would have come up with really amazing data pattern sketches, and that would really inspire me to think of what are the design elements that we can create and what are the stories that we can kind of present this data in terms of providing context and providing a sketch for a potential client or to like see how it looks. And then Julia will take that and put into more developing analysts to actually make it come true. And then we just continue to work in that design and developing match. So
yeah, so essentially I do the data analysis and visualization, and probably come up with ideas for like data viz, but like in bad sketches, low quality sketches. Well, and then I hand it off to Daisy. She makes an amazing prototype. I'll code it, and we'll just iterate through the process. And in terms of narrative development, I think we're both quite experienced with that and background research. So we have some things that we can work on together as well.
Yeah, so working onto these complementary skills, do you feel that this collaboration also gives you the opportunity to learn from each other's skills? And how does this affect your solo work? Who wants to start?
I'll go. Wait, how does that affect our solo? Well, maybe you go first. Okay. About the second part.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because even though for this project we kind of stuck with our kind of expertise, like mine in design and illustration, Julia in coding, because it is a side project, it really allowed us to play and explore our skills. So I've never really used Procreate in my process, I think, because I just didn't know if I can ramp it up during a client project. But for this, I was able to draw like almost 200 illustrations of bobas on it and really explore different tools. And I really want that to be a common theme for all our future projects, where we can like tease in a little bit of skill learning in all our projects and try to expand our toolbox, and that can directly translate to our professional work, where we already have like that toolbox ready for us to use.
Yeah, so one of the goals of this project also was to learn from each other, not only to use skills that we're already good at, but for me, it would be nice to be better at design. I love design, and I think I need a mentor to get better at it. So I have the best mentor I can ask for. And Daisy would like to learn how to code. So I think we also would like to teach each other in the future when we have a bit more time.
Oh, it sounds very, very good. It's like a little love story over here. It's very good to see. It's amazing. In your project, it's all about sharing something of the time and culture. So what other aspects of the Taiwanese culture would you like to share with the world, like you did now with the boba tea, which is a very prime example?
Oh, wow. There are so many. Taiwan has really amazing nature. So something related to nature would be really cool, like the endemic wildlife. Even the democracy movements are really, really important. But also there's a lot more like quirky stuff, like how 7-Eleven is like a one-stop shop for so many things. I think even that is super interesting. And definitely more food, like Taiwanese night markets and all that. I think there are a lot of potentials. We just have to really dig deeper into the topic.
Yeah, definitely. We have like a running list of maybe like 50 ideas of things, because there's just so many interesting things. Like growing up in Taiwan, like we would have this culture where we would always nap during like school hours, and like we would do a lot of kind of different activities that's very different from my experience like in the States. Or also we have a lot of contribution to the global health, like our kind of efforts in pandemic was very successful. There's a lot of women in politics. I think there's a lot of amazing stories in Taiwan that gets mistranslated or also just not as heard of in the current media scene, since right now, like all the stories mostly you hear is about politics in Taiwan, etc. So we really want to share kind of the bright and amazing small stories in Taiwan that people don't really know about, to kind of invite more people into learning about our culture.
Sounds very good, very engaging. I have one more question, because in your talk you said that you created the visualization in English and then translated it to Mandarin, I believe. And you made a little side note on like, okay, because now my mother now will also understand what I do for a living. And we also talked in earlier talks about the MOM test, like making sure that your visual is understandable by someone that's not a visualizer. How do you deal with those kind of like more practical tests in your visualizations? How do you make them accessible for the whole world, basically?
Yeah, so it was nice that I was able to like share that with a lot of my friends and family in Taiwan, and definitely like mobilize like my entire family in Taiwan to like help with the translation. And it was also good like gut check because both of us have left Taiwan for quite a while. And actually through that process, we learned a lot about Taiwan as well ourselves and what is current. Like they have a lot more environmental movement that is in place that we didn't realize that we folded in the story, such as they don't actually provide any plastic bags anymore unless you buy it in the tea shops, etc. And also to make sure that people there also find it engaging and kind of told in the perspective that is authentic to them. So I think that was really helpful to make it accessible outside of an English dominant speaking area. So I think that's for me.
And there are other things to consider. For example, Taiwanese people like things that are cute. So it's important to maybe have illustrations that are cuter, just in order to be able to reach Taiwanese audience as well, instead of just a Western audience. And we haven't really done this much yet, but I think it would be really nice to have a more, like, kind of assess what kind of design, what kind of elements are important to change across cultures, maybe do some user testing. I think it would be fun to come up with a guide, like at some point.
I think that sounds like a very, very interesting future project to kind of like dig into those cultural differences and make a guide of cuteness for Taiwan. I think that's it for now. I would like to thank you very much for this talk and for your time in the Q&A. I've really, really enjoyed it. If there's any more questions in the chat, they will be fed to the docs and you can answer them there. But for now, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Hopefully find some more people who would like to collaborate with you on future projects. I think you have some vacancies out there. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll order boba.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.